What is up, Double Blue Country? My name is Ian Miller, and this is DBSN Overtime. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of DBSN Overtime, the show where we take you through all of the latest news in non-Berlin sports. To kick off today's show, let's send it to our NFL insider, Ishan.
And let's talk last week in the NFL. On Thursday, the Detroit Lions defeated the Dallas Cowboys 44-30 in a high-scoring finish. Dak Prescott had 376 passing yards for the Cowboys, but he also had 2 crucial interceptions, while the Lions, led by Jared Goff and their balanced attack, had 306 passing yards. Now let's move on to the Sunday slate, where the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens 27-22. The Steelers now are first place in the AFC North, led by Aaron Rodgers. With a controversial finish, the Steelers are now confidently in first place, as the Ravens are now reeling. DK Metcalf had 7 catches for 148 yards to push the Steelers to victory. Also at 1 o'clock, the Jacksonville Jaguars also took a commanding first place in the AFC South, as they defeated the Indianapolis Colts 36-19. During that game, Colts quarterback Daniel Jones tore his Achilles, and now their backup quarterback for the Colts, Riley Leonard, is day-to-day with a knee injury. The Colts have tried out quarterback Philip Rivers, who has been retired for the last 5 years, and has signed him to the practice squad as a result of this. Because of this game, the Jags are first in the AFC South, and the Colts, who were previously 8-2, are now out of the playoff picture with their 3rd straight loss. The Tennessee Titans moved to 2-11 as they defeated the Cleveland Browns 31-29. While Shedeur Sanders had 364 passing yards and 3 touchdowns for the Browns, it still fell short to the Titans' overall effort. While Harold Fannin, the Browns' rookie tight end, also had 8 receptions for 114 yards, including a touchdown. The Buffalo Bills defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 39-34, proving a deep blow to the Bengals' playoff hopes. Joe Burrow had 2 costly back-to-back interceptions, which blew the Bengals' 11-point lead to the Bills. Later in the day, the Green Bay Packers defeated the Chicago Bears 28-21. Caleb Williams had a costly interception with a minute left to lose the game. With this game, the previously 1-seeded Bears in the NFC have dropped to the 7th seed in the NFC, and now the Packers are the number 1 seed in the NFC North. Later in the night, the Los Angeles Chargers defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chargers are now 9-4, while the Eagles are 8-5, as they've had their 3rd straight loss. Jalen Hurts had 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions, in this overtime loss. Now let's look to next week. The 9-4 Chargers will be facing the 6-7 Kansas City Chiefs, as the Chiefs try to save their playoff hopes. Patrick Mahomes will have to have a very big day. The 9-4 Buffalo Bills and the 11-2 New England Patriots will face off in a key AFC East matchup. Drake May will hope to lead the Patriots to their 2nd win against the Bills this year, while the Bills are currently fighting for a playoff spot. The 9-3-1 Packers will face the 11-2 Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos are fighting to keep the number 1 seed in the AFC, while the Packers are trying to climb up to get the number 1 seed in the NFC. The 8-5 Detroit Lions will face the 10-3 Los Angeles Rams, in which will be a battle of the former traded teams, as Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff played for each team. Matthew Stafford, who is an MVP candidate, is currently aiming for the number 1 seed in the NFC. That's all we have for the NFL. Let's send it back to the desk. Ian?
Thanks for that update, Ishan. Up next, let's head over to DBSN correspondent Alex for an update in NHL news.
Welcome back to another NHL update here on DBSN Overtime. Let's go over some of the biggest headlines in the hockey world. To start, I'd like to correct myself. In our last episode, I said I would go everything we've missed from the start of the season, and I missed an incredibly big story. So better late than never, and congratulations to Alex Ovechkin on passing 900 career goals. Ovi became the first player to ever reach the 900 goal mark when he scored last month versus the St. Louis Blues. After the goal, Blues goaltender Jordan Binnington hid the puck in his pants as a way to prank Ovechkin, which led to a pretty hilarious viral moment. Ovechkin is still the all-time NHL's leading goal scorer with 911 goals. Will we see him reach 1,000? Once again, congrats to OV on 900 career goals. There has been serious concern with the quality of the ice at the arena that will be hosting the Olympics in Milan, Italy. The NHL, NHLPA, IIHF, and IOC have been working tirelessly to make adjustments to the ice before the players arrive in February. It was also announced that the rink will be close to 4 feet smaller than a typical NHL rink. This year marks the first time in 12 years that NHL players will compete in the Olympics. An injury bug seems to have hit NHL goalies as Joseph Woll, Andrei Vasilevsky, Anthony Stolarz, Thatcher Demko, and Aiden Hill are all out with various injuries. The injury to Hill opened up the Vegas Golden Knights starting goalie job, and Carter Hart made his first NHL appearance since January 2024. Hart was a part of the 5 Team Canada hockey players found not guilty of sexual assault over the summer. Hart made 27 saves in a 4-3 shootout win against Chicago on December 2nd. The Professional Women's Hockey League started their season a few weeks ago. The league is in its 3rd year and is introducing 2 new expansion teams this season, the Vancouver Golden Eyes and the Seattle Torrent. Now, let's talk about some games to watch this week. The Anaheim Ducks and New York Rangers have been 2 teams that have seriously turned their season around since last year, and they will play each other on Monday the 15th. Both teams sit comfortably in the playoff picture, despite neither making the playoffs last year. The Dallas Stars and LA Kings also play on the 15th. The Stars are the 2nd best team in the West, while the Kings don't sit far from them at 6th place. It will be a battle of 2 hot goaltenders. Darcy Kemper and Jake Ottinger both have sub 2.5 goals against averages. Now let's wrap up with our fast facts. The Colorado Avalanche still sit at the top of the West, while the Washington Capitals are now on top of the East. Nathan MacKinnon still leads the league in both points and goals, and rookie sensation Jesper Wallstedt leads in all goaltending categories. Thanks for watching, and if we don't see you till next year, happy holidays.
Great stuff, Alex. The college football playoff is officially set, and DBSN's Dylan Dixon and Tyson Mount have the latest.
Welcome to DBSN Overtime. I'm Dylan Dixon.
And I'm Tyson Mount with your college football segment. And Dylan, the college football playoff is set.
That's right, Tyson, and there was definitely some controversy about it.
Yes, there was. Notre Dame has elected to decline a bowl game after not being selected to be in the college football playoff, as the Miami Hurricanes were picked. Notre Dame won 10 games in a row following an 0-2 start. However, the committee decided to select Miami due to a head-to-head win. Miami beat Notre Dame in Week 1, 27-24.
Certainly an interesting story. The seeding is set and the locations have been picked. The 4 teams with a bye are Big Ten champions, the Indiana Hoosiers, who defeated the Ohio State Buckeyes 13-10. The 2 seed is the Ohio State Buckeyes, who fell to the Hoosiers. The 3 seed is the champions of the SEC, Georgia, who defeated Alabama 28-7. And finally, the 4 seed is Texas Tech, who blew out BYU in the Big 12 title game 34-7.
The first round matchups are set, with the Sun Belt champions James Madison heading to Eugene to face the Oregon Ducks in the 12-5 matchup. ESPN has the Ducks favored by 21.5. The winner will face the Texas Tech Red Raiders in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Oregon is projected to beat James Madison, which would set an awesome matchup versus Texas Tech. Oregon's high-flying offense versus Texas Tech's defense would be a great test for both teams. Both teams have 1 loss, both coming during the regular season. Oregon lost at home against Indiana 20-30. Texas Tech lost on the road against Arizona State. This path for Oregon looks very promising if they want to reach the semifinals.
I definitely have Oregon in their matchup against JMU. For the 6-11 matchup, we have the Ole Miss Rebels against the American champions, the Tulane Green Wave. The Rebels have recently been in the news for some interesting news. Lane Kiffin, their head coach, has moved to LSU, and now the Rebels are left without a head coach during their playoff run. Kiffin was linked with the Tigers for the majority of the season, and he has finally made the move official. The Rebels' interim head coach is defensive coordinator Pete Golding. The Rebels are favored by 16.5 due to their explosive offense, but how good will they be without their head coach is the real question.
Great stuff, Dylan. The winner of that game will face Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. In other news, the Heisman finalist has been announced. Indiana QB Fernando Mendoza, Vanderbilt QB Diego Pavia, Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love, and Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin are the 4 finalists for the most prestigious award in college football. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza is the heavy favorite to take home the award.
Back to the playoff, the 8-9 matchup is a rematch of a regular season showdown between Alabama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma defeated Alabama in Week 12 on the road in Tuscaloosa 23-21. Alabama is favored by 1.5, and this is yet another great offense versus a great defense. Alabama's offense has been great this season, and Oklahoma's defense has been one of the best all year. The winner of this game will face number 1 Indiana in the Rose Bowl. I am super excited to watch this game, and I think it will be one of the best of the whole playoff.
Another interesting matchup for sure. Our final matchup to cover is the 7-10 matchup between Texas A&M and Miami. The Texas A&M is trying to avenge their loss to Texas in the final game of the year. Miami ended the season with a great win on the road against Pitt. A&M is favored by 3.5 and will host this game. The winner of this game will face the 2-seed Ohio State Buckeyes, who are also trying to avenge their loss to Indiana in the Big Ten Championship. The quarterfinal will be in the Cotton Bowl in the home of the Cowboys.
We are finally getting to the most exciting part of the season. I can't wait for the playoffs to start. That will wrap up our college football segment. I'm Dylan Dixon.
And I'm Tyson Mount, and now let's send it back to Ian.
Thanks, Dylan and Tyson. Next up this week, let's take it to John, who has the inside scoop on college wrestling.
Thanks, Ian. First, rankings and recent action are showing some major shakes in the national landscape. Updated D1 rankings have been released this week following intense duels and tournament action, with top contenders jockeying for position as we head deeper into the season. At the recent Cliff Keen Las Vegas Invitational, Iowa State stole the spotlight, taking home the team title and featuring multiple individual champions, a sign that the Cyclones could be a force as we move forward towards the conference championships. On the individual front, standout performers saw significant moves in the rankings, including Cornell's Jackson Joy, climbing several spots after a strong showing. Speaking of rising talent, transfer activity continues to ripple across the sport. The off-season transfer tracker shows many Division I wrestlers switching programs, reshaping team lineups and championship hopes. Looking at the bigger picture, the current D1 wrestler rankings reflect some familiar names near the top, including Ohio State and Penn State leaders, but also emerging stars pushing into elite territory this winter. Speaking of Ohio State, for the first time in 9 years, the Buckeyes topped the Nittany Lions in rankings, ranking number 1 over the number 2 Penn State. We're also just past the Cliff Keen event, with dual results and weekly competition still shaping up how teams stack up against the crowded chase for March. And of course, fans are reminded of last season's historic NCAA championships for March, where Penn State captured its 13th national title, reinforcing the Nittany Lions dynasty in college wrestling. Some matchups to watch this week, and the week of December 7th to the 14th, which as of right now is 11th. Sunday, December 7th, Red Hall, Penn State. Number 1 Penn State faced number 14 Lehigh, a marquee midseason dual and traditional rivalry. The Penn State dominated this matchup earlier in the day with a 36-3 win, but Lehigh's nationally ranked wrestlers will look to test Nittany Lions again in the feature meetings. As of December 11th, on Saturday, December 13th, away week for top teams. Penn State goes to Wyoming. The Nittany Lions travel west to face Wyoming in a key non-conference duel that could help sharpen the lineup before January's Big Ten slate. And national TV and dual action, according to the college wrestling TV schedule, a handful of duels and matchups are scheduled across ESPN networks this weekend. NC State at Ohio State, a top 10 clash that could have postseason implications. West Virginia versus North Carolina, which are intriguing ACC matchups. Penn State, Pittsburgh versus Maryland, a Big Ten level competition for both squads. Drexel at Rutgers. Rutgers will aim to keep momentum rolling against Drexel. And finally, Oklahoma State versus West Virginia. Cowboys look to assert dominance late in the first semester. That's the latest in NCAA Division I wrestling. From big results to key matchups ahead this week. Now, let's send it back to Ian.
Thanks, John, for that update. With the college basketball season well underway, let's send it to Kevin for an update.
Hello, and welcome back to my segment of college basketball. I am Kevin Lanaza, and to start off the show, we'll head to Duke, where they took on the Florida Gators. The Gators started off slow, only scoring 24 points in the first half, but they were able to lock in for the second half, scoring 42 points. Unfortunately, the Gators' 42 points in the second half was not enough, and they lost 67-66 as the Duke Blue Devils freshman forward Cameron Boozer led the team in scoring with 29 points. The next game we'll be talking about is the UConn Huskies taking on the Jayhawks. UConn had 11 offensive rebounds, which led them to a lot of second-chance points. UConn's leading scorer for the game was freshman guard Braylon Mullins, who ended up with 17 points. The last game I will be talking about is USC versus Oregon. This game was really back and forth, where in the first half, Oregon ended up going up by 10 in a 35-25 lead. But then USC ended up coming all the way back at the end and tying it. In the second half, Oregon was able to finish USC off, and USC won with a final score being 82-77. USC's leading scorer was Chad Baker-Mazara with 25 points. That does it for my segment. Now let's send it back to Ian.
Great stuff, Kevin. Next up, let's head back to Dylan for an MLB update.
Thanks, Ian. In MLB news, Jeff Kent was elected to the MLB Hall of Fame. He's currently the only member elected, and the rest of the results will be announced on January 20th, 2026. This officially locks out Roger Clemens from the Hall of Fame after a controversial career with steroids. MLB free agency is heating up, with star players still on the board. Kyle Schwarber signed a contract with the Phillies for 5 years and $150 million. He will stay home in Philly and hope to win a championship as the window is closing. Cedric Mullins has found a new home, signing a one-year deal with the Tampa Bay Rays. This is a much-needed outfield piece that the Rays seemed to be missing last year. Emilio Pagan is returning to the Cincinnati Reds on a 2-year, $20 million contract. He looks to retain his closer role as a member of the Reds. Miguel Rojas is signing his final MLB contract. As his career ends after this season, he stated, "The Los Angeles Dodgers should start to build the statue as Rojas is their World Series hero." Alek Manoah signs a one-year contract with the Los Angeles Angels for $1.95 million. He looks to retain his big league status after a fallout with the Toronto Blue Jays in 2023. Devin Williams shocked the baseball world by signing a 3-year, $50 million contract with the New York Mets. He will keep his closer role, where he switches sides in New York. Ryan Helsley signed a 2-year contract with the Baltimore Orioles. This includes an opt-out after the first season. Dylan Cease signed a 7-year, $210 million contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays look to return to the World Series with the Dodgers' kryptonite, but this time come out on top. In a shocking trade, the New York Mets and Texas Rangers have agreed to swap stars, as Brandon Nimmo heads to Texas and Marcus Semien heads to New York. Cody Bellinger declined his option from the Yankees, seeking more money. Many fans speculate that there could be a reunion with the Dodgers. Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz both opted out of their Mets contracts where they seek a bigger payday. Edwin Diaz did get this payday, where he signed a 3-year, $69 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers. This adds much-needed bullpen depth to the reigning back-to-back World Series champions. In unsigned free agents, Kyle Tucker is still the star outfielder on the board. He's choosing between a couple teams. The Dodgers are not as strong in the race anymore as speculation of a reunion with Cody Bellinger. Munetaka Murakami, Japan's star, has yet to sign with the team. The Dodgers are the favorite to sign him to pair him with star Japanese teammates Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Roki Sasaki. The Dodgers are reportedly already done with their trade with the Detroit Tigers in order to get Tarek Skubal to Los Angeles, according to David Pingalore. The parts holding it up are the long-term extension for Los Angeles and an ownership approval on Detroit's side. Pete Alonso, the star first baseman, has yet to sign anywhere. He's been with the Mets his whole career, and many fans think he could go to the Cubs, Phillies, or the Guardians. As free agency continues, I'll be back in a couple of weeks to discuss the new signings headlining Kyle Tucker, Munetaka Murakami, Tarek Skubal, and Pete Alonso. In World Baseball Classic news, Team USA, headlined by Aaron Judge, is the current favorite to win the World Baseball Classic. Team Japan is headlined by Shohei Ohtani. They are the last champions. Team Dominican Republic is headlined by Jose Ramirez, and Team Puerto Rico is headlined by Francisco Lindor. All of these teams are extremely talented and bringing baseball back to a global level, and it increases viewership. That's all we have for MLB news. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to discuss new headlines. Now, let's send it back to Ian.
And to wrap up this week's show, we have our second edition of Ohio Sports Roundup. Alex, take it away.
Thanks, Ian. Last weekend, the Cleveland Browns fell to the Tennessee Titans 31-29. The Browns scored late, but failed to convert the 2-point conversion, losing them the game in the final minute. This Sunday, they go to Chicago to play the Bears at 1 o'clock on Fox. The Cincinnati Bengals came up short against the Buffalo Bills, 39-34. The Bengals blew an 11-point lead early in the game, and Joe Burrow threw 2 interceptions in the loss. They look to bounce back Sunday when they face division rival Baltimore at 1 o'clock on CBS. The Ohio State Buckeyes football team lost to Indiana in the Big Ten championship game last Saturday. Buckeyes kicker Jaden Fielding missed a 27-yard field goal that would have tied the game in the fourth quarter. The Bucks turn their focus to the college football playoff, where they will play the winner of Miami and Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. Buckeyes men basketball suffered their first Big Ten loss to Illinois Tuesday night, and on Saturday they head up to Cleveland to play West Virginia in the Cleveland Hoops Showdown. That game will be on ESPNU. However, the Buckeyes women's team did defeat Northern Kentucky last night, 94-62. Their next game is Sunday against Toledo at 1 o'clock on Big Ten Plus. Finally, the Blue Jackets fell to the Ottawa Senators last night, 6-3. The loss extends their losing streak to 4 games. They look to get back on track Saturday night when they face the Golden Knights at 7 o'clock on FanDuel Sports Network.
Thanks again, Alex, and thank you everyone for tuning into this episode of DBSN Overtime. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on all of our social media accounts. This is our last show of 2025, so we will see you back in the new year. For DBSN, this has been Ian Miller.